CR with my top 5 Kingdom Hearts games, and while I've expressed my love for the series before, there will be no honorable mentions on this list for a couple reasons that mostly boil down to me really not enjoying the other games in the series, with an especially to the mobile game, which are serviceable but unforgivably pay to win if you want to do anything besides story, which takes forever to come out anyway. I will give an aside because I know just how passionate some fans can be and say this is my opinion and does not devalue your own, and if you generally like the games that aren't on this list, more power to you. Now let's check out my favorites. Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Like many firsts, this game holds a special place in my heart as the introduction to the series for me, and I know this technically isn't the original, it boils down to the same thing with some extra scenes, new abilities, and another secret boss. The reason why it's so low on my list is due to slow gameplay, as throughout the series it gets a lot faster paced and fighting becomes a lot more polished that I grew used to it. So this game feels a lot slower in comparison, but as the first game in the series, and as far as I knew, might be the only game, as I didn't beat it until after I beat Kingdom Hearts 2, I was super impressed by everything that was presented in the game, especially since I love Disney. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. If you're looking for original versions of these games, you've come to the wrong place. I didn't get far in the original on PSP due to me accidentally breaking the system, so when I finally got to play it with HD graphics on my PS3, I was super interested in this 3-piece story, and was also interested to see how it connected with the overarching story of the series. Thankfully, I wasn't disappointed in the story, but this is another game in which the gameplay was further polished in later games that are further on this list. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. This game is a lot of fun. Story gets a little wonky, but I really like the gameplay of this game and really advances the systems used in Birth by Sleep, at least to me. The inclusion of the Dream Eaters is nice as well, and I had fun creating the best ones I could when the game first came out. The secret boss in this game is probably the biggest choke in the series, but learning an easy way to beat a usually hard enemy is always a joy, and usually makes me laugh when I absolutely destroy them in a really ridiculous way. The only thing I don't like completely is the flow motion, as it kind of breaks up the exploration part of the game, but I do kind of like it at the same time, as it feels a bit better to be able to find all the chests immediately, as there's a bunch of different ways to play with being able to find different attacks to use. Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. This might be a little divisive, even to me, since I haven't played the game since the original release, but believe me, I played this game to absolute death, doing everything except the final extra mission, cause it's hard as hell, and I really believe you need another person to be able to beat it, or maybe I just sucked more than I thought. I love the Twilight Trio because of this game, possibly more than the main trio, thanks to Kairi being constantly useless, and I think this game portrays the organization in a very interesting light, as this game humanizes the nobodies a little more, making me like members of the organization I never thought I would be interested in. Combine all this with actually being able to play as the different organization members, and I was absolutely hooked, especially since you get to play as 2 members who had been final bosses previously. Some people say the gameplay is lackluster, and I don't remember it enough to really comment on it too much, but I at least remembered I had a decently fun time playing through the game, and having a system like Mega Man Battle Network, being able to power your characters up in an interesting way was nice. Plus, the fact that this was originally going to be a fighting game for the series, which I talked a bit about in my Kingdom Hearts Iceberg, is a cool bit of information as well. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. There will be a video coming out in February for my favorite PS2 games where I state that the original is my favorite, but that's due to the fact that the Final Mix version never came to PS2 outside of Japan. This version is very obviously the superior, with so much extra content and both fluid gameplay and a great story to boot, with possibly some of my favorite worlds in the entire series. I've probably played the multiple versions of this game around 5 times now, and I'll have to play it again for when I finally get around to reviewing the game, which I really have no qualms about. I especially love the challenge of this game on critical mode, and especially the secret bosses, which I could, at one point on the PS3 version, reliably beat fairly easily with consecutive defeats of one of the hardest known secret bosses in the series at the time. Learning the inner mechanics of this game is quite fun too, as you can actually learn how to manipulate the very hard bosses and make them jokes, which I again say is always a blast to do. I just think this is the most excellent entry in the series, and the ending, while not a definitive one, always makes me happy and sad at the same time, though now even more so because I know I waited for the mess that was Kingdom Hearts 3. I'll say again, these are just my opinions on the series, and don't take me being harsh on the games as me not liking them. I've just been with the series since the beginning, and have furthered my understanding on how I like each game a bit, and concede that there are faults even though the series is fun and great, but I think that's what's good about video games. Obviously nothing is going to be perfect, you can just hope it's all fun and worth it while it lasts. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next video.